there's comments on YouTube, I'll let you know if anything crazy is going on. Okay. Hello. We have some familiar names in the YouTube chat, which is still a crazy thing for me. Welcome back to Tub Talks Season 3, Episode 3. I'm like a podcast now. This is crazy. Very quickly, I just want to say I am in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. This is Treaty 6 territory. And my guest today is Taylor Janzen, coming to us from Winnipeg, Manitoba, which we think was Treaty 1. We need to do our homework.
Yeah.
Taylor and I, Taylor's an amazing singer-songwriter. I should just start right with that. And we'll be so lucky to maybe hear her play a song later. But Taylor and I met at the Winnipeg Folk Fest 2 or 3 years ago. And her career has quickly gone like this, and articles in the New York Times and all this super cool comparisons to Phoebe Bridgers. And that's all the pumping of tires I have for this immediate moment. Taylor, would you like to tell us anything about yourself?
I mean, at this point, all I do is just cry and like make songs. That's all I'm doing.
Same. That's we hopped on a few minutes early, and essentially right away we were like, "Are you doing okay? Are you doing okay?" Because I think we get where the world is at in relation to our lives here. But it's not all bad. We can drink coffee and Zoom call.
I mean, I have tea, but it is in a Christina Yang mug.
I was thinking that was a pretty cool mug. I have
my
little Bagel Man mug.
Oh shit, I love a fun mug. I buy too many of them. Everyone gets mad at me for bringing them home. But it's my only happiness in this crazy life.
Oh my God, it is absolutely the only happiness. Taylor, we can just sit and bullshit for forever. I know we can, but I want to hear a bit about you as an artist. Lots of our audience on here, which is not huge, but they're a lovely, devoted crowd of animators and YouTubers themselves. We want to know, how did you get started as a musician whatsoever, or an artist? How did you get started? What would you pin it on?
I'd pin it on a lot of things that kind of just gradually built up to, I don't know, I've always wanted to be a musician. I don't recall any time in my life where I haven't wanted that. But I think as a songwriter, I definitely was shaped by like my influences, but also like using songwriting as like a cathartic thing, because I also grew up quite religious, and like talking about certain things was frowned upon.
Right.
So I would just write songs about it. And I still kind of do that. But yeah, that's kind of, and then I just kept playing. And then when I graduated high school, I just played shows around Winnipeg, and then here I am.
So nonchalant. Okay, so that's cool. So it's kind of like an evolution of self-expression for you.
Yeah.
How does your family, I'm sure they support you a lot and love you a lot, which is great, but how did they feel about when you were like singing songs, I don't know, that maybe were a little bit different than the values that you were growing up around? Do you ever feel weird about that?
I mean, yes and no. My mom is like a nerd, like with how much she like is very supportive, like in a very sometimes embarrassing but heartwarming way. So
Okay.
she has always like, she's never discouraged me from like also expressing my emotions. She put me in therapy when I was like 12. So like she's chill with the things that I write about, even if sometimes they make her sad. But yeah, I mean, it hasn't really come up ever, but I think the more that I write about it, I think I have a lot of songs that maybe might upset people.
Okay, that's okay. I think having emotion in there is good, but I also know it's hard to step out for that first time and be like, hey, I'm gonna say something about how I actually feel, and you might react to it if you know me personally. The goal is to have that song probably get out beyond the people who know you personally, but that first step is, well, who's going to hear it first? And if you're like, I grew up in a very Catholic home, now I don't want to do that, like it's tough not to think about what the immediate reaction is going to be sometimes too.
Especially when that's like also those are the people who have a direct line of communication to you.
Exactly, right? They're going to tell you what you think. But yeah, I just try to think beyond that and say, hey, there's greener pastures for these thoughts and feelings, and they are things that people have. That is super cool. What are you working on? And I don't mean to say that you need to be doing a whole lot, because the world is pretty messed up right now. But what was your latest release, and what was the plan for what's next? Or maybe what is still the plan?
God, it's been such a mess. Basically, I was in LA like as the world shut down. I was there.
Okay. Sorry, no, I'm interrupting.
I was there, and I literally just like the day before I flew out, I finished writing the last song that was supposed to be on my full length.
Okay.
Like, literally had just finished this fucking album. And I went home and the world just like collapsed. And I was like, okay. And then we ended up putting out a song anyways instead of putting anything off. Mm-hmm. So the last song I put out was called Devotion.
Right.
And fun fact, that is a song that I tried to make sound like a breakup song, but it's actually a breakup song about the Christian church. But
okay.
It's a whole thing. But yeah, so I had a whole record written. Not all of it was like finished recording wise, but like it was all written and like track list, everything, title. And we put that off indefinitely. And then we're
just waiting.
Yeah. So I, at that point, was so depressed. Whenever I would think about music, I would just get very upset and like not able to get out of bed. So my solution was I just won't think about music. So I just took a few months where I just didn't do shit. I didn't pick up the guitar. I didn't do anything. I just like picked up weird hobbies and ignored it. And then eventually my manager was like, hey, come on. And I was like, all right. And then I started writing songs that I liked better than a lot of the songs on the record. So I scrapped like half the record. Now I'm just writing it all over again.
But they weren't through the production stage yet. So they were songs that you thought you were happy with, but hadn't gone through what I'll call the machine of becoming a record.
Some of them were.
Okay, that's tough. That's a tough place to know when to step back. But honestly, yeah. Everything I've read about all this stuff, and as I gain some experience too, it seems valuable to be able to have that.
Yeah, but yeah, I've been writing a lot lately. I go through phases though. I'll go through a phase where like I'm like, man, I'm gonna make this pandemic my bitch. I am going to adapt to the times, and I'm just gonna do whatever. But then I go through a phase where I wake up every morning and I'm like, I'm a failure.
You wake up in the morning. I got up like an hour ago. So.
Yeah, I need to get up in the morning or else I'll die.
That's fair. I've adjusted, and it actually works pretty well for me unless I have one of my very rare social interactions with my partner or with my roommate or something that throws off my schedule of being awake from 3 p.m. till 6 a.m. See, that it's fine when I'm just working on my own through the night, like just reading or just like hanging out. But then as soon as some people are like, hey, do you want to hang out 3 days from now? I'm like, oh, I have to adjust like 8 hours of sleep schedule to be able to see anybody.
Yeah, not ideal. I mean, I'm more of a morning person.
That's good. Good on you. We have a question here from Sir Dry Fish. How do you keep focus when you are practicing, and how did you start off? It's a question for both of you. Maybe we'll talk specifically about your instrument of choice or writing.
Right. I mean, I play guitar, but I suck at guitar.
I also suck at guitar. It's just a tool.
Yeah, it's just a tool for me. I tried to play guitar lessons for literally, like I tried to do guitar lessons once, and in the first lesson, he taught me 3 chords, made me play them the whole hour and just soloed over me. So I was like, fuck, I can't do this. So I just went home and taught myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I just started using my 4-chord bullshit with
It works.
on 8.
It works. It's kind of like the greatest secret, that everybody knows is that's all you need. And then to be creative with it or outside of that is what I find.
Yeah. And I mean, I recently got a baritone guitar,
Oh, nice.
which is so sick. And that's been really inspiring me because it's new. But
I've played with one. How are those tuned again? I have some in my first record, but my producer played it and I've never touched it. How does it?
yeah, it's typically tuned like it's technically like standard but lower,
A fifth?
like in D flat, I think.
Cool. That's
It's like four of them lower.
four of them. Okay.
I'm really bad at music theory. I used to take music theory and it just went in one ear, out the other.
You just need a really solid bassist who knows it way inside and out, and then
yeah.
it's all about surrounding yourself with the right people, supportive people who have skills you don't have, and you're complementary to each other. That's something I've discovered.
That's what I miss about tour. I miss tour so much. Like, I thrive on tour. That is when I'm at my healthiest.
It's such a great incentive to be able to go see somewhere new, meet new people, like.
Yeah, and also I just like I played solo for the first like year and a half of my career. More than that actually, but having a band has actually been one of the best experiences of my life. I love my band, and like this last tour we had like a tour manager and my friend Becca came out to take pictures, and it was just like the nicest. It was just like being in a little gang of people that just.
Is this the tour with Half Moon Run?
Yeah.
Okay, see, I want to specifically talk about that today. So Half Moon Run, hopefully lots of you guys know who Half Moon Run is. If not, definitely go check them out. They're awesome. They're a very big band with a great following. Can you tell me, I want to ask more about your cool touring life in a second and how the lifestyle of that works, but how did you end up on tour with Half Moon Run?
I think it had a lot to do with I'm on the same label as them. So that helped a lot.
Is that Arts and Crafts?
Glass Note.
Glass Note, cool.
Yeah, which was mainly the thing that helped a lot.
Nice.
I'm gonna assume it was that. It was the day that it's just crazy because when I was in high school, I was obsessed with them. And they've been one of my favorite bands for a very, very long time. Mm-hmm. And I just got to tour with them, which was so sick.
What a dream.
Yeah, for sure. And even,
across Canada?
It was across Canada, and it dipped into the States a couple times. But I've just been really lucky that like the two main tours that I've been on have both been artists that I am obsessed with and I look up to a lot. Like we toured with Lucy Dacus like a year ago, and that was amazing too. But
cool.
Yeah.
I have some questions here unanswered. One, I would like to say, hello, Jeff. It is so nice that you popped in here. Jeff is a friend from Canmore and said I popped right up on his YouTube page. So that is super cool. Is writing music something that's natural or instinctive, or were you taught by others over time?
My journey with songwriting actually started when my mom brought home a Taylor Swift CD.
Oh, nice. Classic story.
Taylor Swift genuinely just made me a songwriter.
That's cool.
She still is in my songwriting. Like, it's still there.
I hear it a little bit. I get it.
Like, even though, like, as I grew up and became a teenager and I was angsty and I only listened to Joy Division, like, it's still stuck. Taylor Swift will always just stick in all of my songs.
It's good. She's very relevant. She's a great role model, I would say, from my limited knowledge of Taylor Swift, which I'm embarrassed to say I have limited knowledge. I should know more about Taylor Swift. She's an absolute megastar. One more question is, where in the States? Where did you go in the States?
We went to Portland and Seattle. Seattle was my favorite place that we went.
Right before everything closed, right?
Yeah, it was incredible. It was this time last year actually, which hurts my heart. But
I'm sorry.
we went to Minneapolis and Detroit, Chicago, which I was really upset because Chicago we had like maybe an hour there.
Oh no. Yeah, that happens. Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't.
outside of the venue, and that was one of my favorite, like the places I was looking forward to going the most.
That's awesome. When I did my release tour for my first album last October, it's like, I don't know, 13 months ago, 14 months ago, something like that, I decided to stick myself on an adventure and go solo because I couldn't afford to bring the band, not because I wouldn't love to have them,
Mhm.
and drive and play like BC and Alberta. I think I played in Winnipeg, and then I cut through the states to, cut out south of the lakes, and I drove through Minneapolis and Detroit and Chicago. So it was fun. I got to see all these same places. I didn't get to play there. I didn't have a visa at the time, but
Right.
Chicago was a great, great place. I got to spend a night right downtown with a friend actually I met at Winnipeg Folk Fest who moved
Ah,
there, and I met him once that weekend, and he totally took me in and showed me the city. It was a really cool night.
that's awesome. Yeah, I want to actually go to Chicago. Like we had a day off in Seattle, so that's why I'm saying it's my favorite.
Mm.
Also we went to go find the house that they use in Grey's Anatomy as Meredith Grey's house.
Good
It
plan.
was excellent. I really thoroughly enjoyed my time there.
Well, you'll get back. We'll get back there. It'll be okay. Oh, I have so many questions. Okay, really quick one. Another one from the chat. I really like when people are asking things in the chat. It's like I want to stay engaged. What got you interested in guitar? When was the first time you picked up guitar?
Um, I used to play piano as a kid, and I hate piano ballads.
Fair.
So that's what got me interested in guitar.
Okay, nice. Oh shoot, what was I gonna ask you next? We talked about Half Moon Run, your Lucy Dacus tour, going through the states, touring. You said you had some weird hobbies. What did
Yeah, I've just been gathering and collecting them
extent?
throughout quarantine. I'm so tired. Although my idea for my new one is I want to learn how to rollerblade, but now is not the correct season to do that.
Are you in Winnipeg these days? You're back in Winnipeg?
Yeah, I've been in Winnipeg this whole time, except I went to Toronto for a month
That's
just
I
to.
remember seeing you posting in Toronto, so I wasn't sure if you moved there or what.
Yeah, I went there for a month because I thought I was gonna suffocate and die here. So
Yeah, I get that. Edmonton and Winnipeg are extremely similar.
yeah, yeah.
Winnipeg's a little cooler, I would say. I feel like the downtown's smaller, but cooler.
I mean, I love Winnipeg. Um, I can't really see myself permanently moving for a
Mm,
very long time.
fair.
Like I couldn't see myself permanently living in Toronto. Um, yeah, but it's definitely boring if you're there for a year in quarantine.
I understand.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, Winnipeg's a great place. Winnipeg Folk Fest was something I wanted to talk about. So, of course, that was where we got acquainted. I don't even know if we really talked too much, but 3-ish years ago, I went 2 years, and I'm sure I saw you both years. Winnipeg is an amazing and friendly city. I've been really fortunate that from the maybe week total I've ever spent there, I've gotten to make lots of friends. So it's a super cool place. And we were talking briefly about your partner, Ben, and what a sweetheart he is. I remember he was working, I think, at the city, like at the dump or something, and he was a hawker. What was that word? Like,
He was
was
a falconer.
a falconer. His job was to like run the falcons around the dump or something like that.
He trained falcons and hawks to like chase seagulls away.
That was the craziest job. I remember he picked us up, and I like hardly know this guy, and he's telling us about training birds at the dump.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I like this guy. Okay, sorry, I derailed myself. I want the Falcons. Winnipeg Folk Fest. So, how do you feel about Winnipeg Folk Fest? Was that something you kind of grew up loving, wanting to do, and then dream realized? You got to go be part of this huge festival. It is huge, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, I only went for the first time the year I graduated high school.
Right.
One of my first times playing outside of my bedroom was Young Performers that year. I had never afforded to go,
Mhm.
but I had always wanted to go. And that year, Brandy Carlisle was playing, who is one of my favorites of all time.
Oh, great.
And it was magical. And I loved it, even though I didn't know anyone because I hadn't really acquainted myself with any Winnipeg musicians at the time.
Mhm.
So I didn't know anyone. But yeah, and then I did Young Performers the next year. And then the last year that it was on, we got to play like the actual lineup,
Right.
and it was really cool. It was incredible, except the sun was in my eyes the whole time, and I sweat in I was so sweaty.
And then you got to run back to your tent and shower outside. And it's like a half-hour walk away.
Yeah, I made the mistake of camping the whole time when I was playing every day in like a workshop,
Yeah.
and that wasn't fun. Next time, if there is a next time, I'm not doing that.
Oh, next time you're staying at the Fairmont. Next time you're getting the big artist treatment. We're staying downtown. We're getting bussed in. Although I would forever miss that camping. It's always so much fun. It's just
I hate camping.
okay.
I hate it.
Then you're camping. I'll be camping.
I just hate being outside for too long.
Fair. I would like to, I'm just keeping an eye on our time here, and I try to keep these things sub 30 minutes so they're like digestible little episodes of SpongeBob here. Love SpongeBob, by the way. Totally in a renaissance of SpongeBob right now. It's great, timeless. I was wondering and hoping if you would trade a song with me.
Sure.
Sure. That would be great. Would you like to go first or second? It absolutely does not matter to me.
Either or. Should I increase the lighting here? It is getting darker and darker.
That's fine. I can see you. And now it's an auditory experience. So
Okay. I can whatever you want.
I'll give you the last word this time. I think I went first last week. So
Okay. I'm also gonna warn you. I have an insane dog that does not like when I play music.
Okay.
So you may hear some insane dog noises.
That's okay. You know what? We're not cutting an album today. Probably won't. Yeah, no, this will live on YouTube. It's great. Okay, well, I'll start. I'll warm us up. Hopefully, our dog friend will hold off for
All right.
for the two of us. Okay, this song's called "Tie It All Together." I don't have a ton of songs, so eventually I just start playing them all again on these streams. But
yeah,
I don't care. Tie it all together. What's the tempo of this song? Okay. No, actually, it's. You see, we run out of practice. What am I performing for? When did you first get up to leave me in the corner of your mind? It's been a while since I felt a teardrop pull me down. You broke a promise to be kind. I don't like to be so serious, but I don't want to waste my time. When you leave tomorrow morning, I think I'll wither up and cry. And bitterness is the saddest hardest thing I know of. Bitterness is the longest bus ride home. Bitterness is lonely weighing on your shoulder. If I could tie it all together. I guess if you're gonna leave me, should get my crying over now. 'Cause I'd hate to stop and start again and again. I'd have to go away for a long time. But when I come back to the country, it's in your tender arm I'll sleep. That's if you'll see me in your front room, and if you have me in your bedsheet. In your bedsheet. Oh, bitterness is the hardest thing I know of. Bitterness on the opposite of home. Bitterness, I am a stranger in the darkness. If I could tie it all together. If I could tie it all together. If I could tie it all. That's my song. Thank you.
That was so good.
Thanks.
Is that a newer one?
That is a newer one. It's no secret for the 10 people watching here. I'm working on a second album that hopefully is out. I'm planning for November of this year. As you know, it's a long route of writing, then recording, then editing, then artwork, and then sitting on it for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, sitting around. But that's one I'm pretty sure will be on there. I like that one. So
Yeah, you never know. But it's also such a weird time to put out music too.
Weird time, and it's hard to like get together with anybody. Like I can sit here and make them, but
yeah,
still a lot relies on being able to talk to people and see them. So
yeah, lately I've been do you know Roman Clark?
I know the name. I don't think I've met Roman Clark.
Yeah, we've been writing a lot together. Basically, he like creates a track and sends it to me, and I just write over it, which has been really nice.
That's so cool. I love all the different rhythms that like partners can take. I was really self-conscious about, well, not self-conscious. I was really proud to be working with the producer who I'm working with. And he's just like my absolute partner. I kind of think of him as a writing partner in ways. Because I'll come with something like this and he'll be like, what about this? What about this? And we'll toss out ideas and scratch things down, yes or no. And in the end, I'm kind of like, this guy's helping me make the entire finished sound. So
yeah, that's the thing. Because
collaborative.
Yeah, since COVID started, I've been primarily writing by myself, which before COVID, I was writing with lots of other people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been like a nice return to form, but also I get stuck in a little loop of like uninspiration because I can't work with anyone else.
Definitely.
But working with Roman has actually been really nice for writing new shit. It's been really good for me.
That's cool. I'm going to check out Roman Clark. I know the name. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, he's sick.
Would you like to play us a song to kind of send us off here?
Sure.
What do we got? What I do.
I'm gonna do a new one.
Okay. Y'all go listen to. I'm gonna plug your stuff really quick before we hear you. Go and follow That's Taylor Janzen Bandcamp. By the way, there's another free Bandcamp day coming up where all the.
I'm not on Bandcamp.
Okay, don't go to Bandcamp. Spotify. Follow her on Spotify. That's the best way to help us out, honestly, with getting gigs and stuff. That's where people look. Go to Taylor Janzen on Spotify. Listen to all their stuff. I think the link is in the description already.
All right. Thanks.
Sorry for the interjection. Tell us about your new song.
Yeah, this is the first song I wrote during quarantine. Um, and it's called Push It Down, and I hope to release it eventually. You know how it is. But yeah, I wrote it and then I forgot about it and then I resurrected it and now here it is.
Very cool.
I don't wanna know what you think of me. I don't want you to think of me at all. And I don't want the grinding in my teeth. I don't want the tension in my jaw. 'Cause I've been sleeping with the light on, bleeding till it's all gone. Nobody can tell me that I got it wrong. Walking with my shoes off, crying in my bathtub, trying not to die, but not trying hard enough. I've been trying to push it down, but sooner or later it all comes out. And I can't hold my breath and count. Sooner or later it all comes out. Well, nobody knows how bad it gets, except for everyone I've ever met. Just waiting on the day I grow out of it, slamming my head against my fist. 'Cause I've been sleeping with the light on, bleeding till it's all gone. Nobody can tell me that I got it wrong. Walking with my shoes off till I get to your house. I could be alone, but I'm scared of what I'll find out. I've been trying to push it down, but sooner or later it all comes out. I could hold my breath and count, but sooner or later it all comes out. Cause I've been sleeping with the light on, bleeding till it's all gone. Nobody can tell me that I got it wrong. Try to talk to Jesus, I haven't learned a thing yet. Broken up in me, but tell me who's counting. I've been trying to push it down, but sooner or later it all comes out. I can't hold my breath and count. Sooner or later it all comes out. There she is.
Oh, that's awesome. You're a hit machine. You're just like everything I hear coming out of your world is great. That's honestly that's going to be a very big song. I'm calling it now.
Thanks.
That's awesome. I was talking to Jesus. I haven't learned a thing.
Yeah. I always reference my religious turmoil in literally every song I've ever written.
That line was just a beacon. It was great. You're getting lots of little clap hands in the chat, and yeah, I loved it. That was seriously good. So you wrote that one by yourself, or with Roman?
I wrote that one by myself. Yeah.
Killer song. So what was it going to be called? Does it have a name?
It's called Push It Down.
Push It Down. Nice.
Yeah.
I can't think of a much better note to leave it on than that one. Everybody go look at Taylor Janzen on the internet. She's got some really cool articles out there, but the best way to support her career when we can get out of our bathtubs would be to go follow her on Spotify so we can show everybody booking our shows that we have people looking at us.
Hell yeah.
Go do that. Yeah, we'll see you next week at the same time. I have a lovely guest I'll announce for you in a few days. Taylor, hold on the stream for a second here. I'm going to end it for everybody else. And thanks everybody for being here. We'll see you next week. See ya. Okay.